Assalamu alaikum. Hi, Oracle Reiki Spiritual Healer. And I hope that you guys have been enjoying my channel. I hope that you guys continue to reach out to me. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment. And we're at like 5,800 followers, and I really appreciate all of you, especially those of you who are new to this channel. I really appreciate you. Please make sure that you reach out to me and let me know if there's anything that you would like me to speak about, or anything that you may want to know about. So without any further ado, what we're talking about today is those toxic patterns and cycles that you always hear content creators talk about. I always talk about those toxic patterns and cycles, but I'm going to break it down to you today so that you can understand how you can get out of those toxic patterns and cycles. And one of the ways to do that is with constant prayer, a connection to God, constant fasting, constant prostration. I can't get it out, but we're going to get it today. We're going to get it today. So, when you're having that connection to God, then you're able to see the entities, the negative people who have been inserted into your life. Those people who have that obsession, that toxic attachment to them and to you. Those people who have tried to harm you, and they will try to harm you. So we're going to look at first these toxic people, the narcissists. The narcissists that were in the holy books. You have the narcissists like Pharaoh. And in many times when you're dealing with a toxic person, a narcissist, a demonic person, then you have to understand that narcissism and that toxic energy, it came from somewhere. And usually it is within the family. It is within the traditions. You can see it in their behaviors and their conduct. So, with that being said, we have to take a look at Pharaoh. And Pharaoh, when Moses was being born, and we understand in both holy books that it says that Moses had to be thrown in the river by his mother. And the river carried him to Pharaoh. Okay? And God, God is always good. God was guiding the babies. God is still good. God is guiding the babies right now. So we have to look at this and say, when Moses was a baby, he was under attack by the Pharaoh of that time. So now that he has grown up in the society of Pharaoh in the palace, he has been treated well. They have tried to erase his memories, but we can't erase blood. Okay, so let that be the reason. So now we got a new Pharaoh that has taken the throne. And he is just as insidious as his father was. So we understand that the original father, the reason that Moses was in the river and floated to Pharaoh's palace was because the father had said, kill all, unalive all babies, all firstborns in the city. Okay, we're understanding that, so we're on the same page. So now we get this new Pharaoh, his son comes along, and he's mad with these Israelites. He is very upset that he does not measure up to the God of Moses and Aaron. So what does he do? He's in that psychic attack upon the Israelites, and that puts him in a pattern, because that makes him think that he's better in some way. I'm sorry, guys, that's a truck. You know, he thinks he's better. He thinks he's superior to them. So he's in that same toxic cycle and that pattern, because he's sending out all of these spells, these decrees over the people of Israel. He's attacking them with everything that he got, and he still cannot measure up to these people, even though they are enslaved to him. Even though they are enslaved to his people, he cannot seem to measure up to the people, and he definitely cannot measure up to the God that they serve, the one God. So he decrees, you know, in his insidious mind, in his attacks, that all firstborn sons be put to death, also unalive. Not thinking that he has a one and only firstborn son. Okay, so we understand that these people will harm themselves trying to attack you. And I say this all the time in my videos. And I just wanted to give you these patterns and cycles that we're in because of tradition, because his father, you know, was doing these types of tactics, because he was under attack, you know, in the palace. Moses was under attack in the palace, but he didn't know it yet. So now that we are understanding where these traditions, where these tactics come from, they come from the fathers and the men of old. These attacks, these tactics that they are sending out, these spells, these magicians that they are using, these sorcerers that they are using to attack you, to bring you back in alignment, to bring your children back in alignment. They are upset because these tactics aren't working. And, you know, and we can see that now with the young men that's coming out with the, I think it's the half zippers. The half zippers, they're dressing better. They're looking better. They want to look better. I think that is so nice. I think that is the best thing that I have seen from our young men in a very long time. So we have to give credit where credit is due. So now that we are seeing that these tactics are not working, they were not working in that time, and they are not working in this time. So this makes the tyrants, this makes those people who are the leadership in society, that they can't carry out their mission for the Shayateen. It makes them very upset and obsessive about your energy. It makes them want to study your mind, your brain, your body. You know, why they can't, you know, attack you and win. So they would rather unalive you, you know, medically, professionally. They would rather say that something is wrong with you in these medical realms and medical fields. Yeah. So we have to be very careful of these types of attacks and these patterns and cycles that these people are in. We are in a toxic cycle with these tyrants. We are watching them as they continue to try to harm us, make decrees, make policy, make laws, and send out these insidious spells over our life. And every time they do so, it starts to harm them. They are exposed for, you know, pedophilia. They are exposed. Their own people start turning against them. The weather, the floods in California. Things start exploding upon the earth because God has defended us. Our character, what he has given us, the way that we believe. And again, it doesn't matter whether you are Christian or Muslim. There are the same laws in both books. And some of the laws in the books are for those who are, you know, closer to God. I'm sorry to say it like that. So we are understanding, when you are seeing these cycles and patterns, you can see those same cycles and patterns in your family. And so I'm going to give you an example of that. You know, because if we can see it in the holy books, then we can see it in ourselves, and we can see it in life, in society. A lot of you will have family members who dislike you because of your gifts. And not only because of your gifts, they dislike you because you wasn't born a male. They dislike you because you are dark skinned. Sometimes they dislike you because you are light skinned. Sometimes they can, have this cycle or pattern within the family where they dislike you because they just don't like that you look like your father, or you look like your mother. I just seen on the internet on a Carnival cruise where a stepchild murdered another child on a Carnival cruise while they were, on a vacationing cruise. The stepmother was notified that one of her children had harmed and been notified about harming one of their brothers and sisters, a stepbrother and sister. So we have to understand that when we have these types of patterns and these types of people who are narcissists around us, they are in a toxic pattern. And until they complete that pattern, until Pharaoh was able to complete that pattern that he was in, that cycle that his father started, where it had given him a chance. God had given him a chance, whether you would, be upright, whether you would be righteous, or you would be like your fathers of old, whether you would be insidious, a disease in your heart, hard-hearted, evil, psychopath, narcissist, demonic, all of those above. You will also see those things in your life. You will see those things in society. That after God had given these types of people who have picked up that behavior from their mothers and fathers, traditions where they harm, women, traditions where they harm young babies. It's in the Quran. It's in the Holy Quran. You see what I'm saying? And it's in society. Tradition where, they have to be in these cycles until they have reached the end of their cycle and God has punished them for their insidious behavior, their mean-spirited conduct, their narcissism, the demonic that has been attached to them has now abandoned them. And they end up like Pharaoh, where they don't get the same chance that their fathers got for receiving that kind of negative energy, for that kind of negative energy being transferred to them. They don't get the same kind. I was just wondering what was back there in my back. See, that's my water back there. Okay, I was like, what is that? But, in our families also, they don't get that same kind of those years that their parents had gotten. That younger generation, you're going to decide right now. You're going to be unalive when you're young. You're going to be, drowned. And for the life of me, I don't know why. If I was Pharaoh and I seen the children of Israel and Moses running through a furrow and the ground is dry and the water is on both sides, like two huge firm masses, and I can't even say this enough. I think I've said this before. It may have been here. It may have been on another one of my videos somewhere else, but I don't know why in the world he would think that he could go and chase after the children of Israel after everything that had happened to him. Because he's in a negative pattern. He's in an insidious pattern. He's in a cycle, a toxic cycle. So when we're understanding that these people are, usually unalive because of their insidious behavior. If God said, let my people go, and he has sent a prophet to you in order to show you his signs, there are signs up on the earth that these negative people, these toxic people, these narcissists absolutely can see. But they would rather, be nasty to the chosen ones that's in their family. They would be nasty to the chosen ones in any business dealing in life, in society, in your community. So we have to have the discernment that they are in a toxic cycle, and we are to move out of their way. We are to separate ourselves from them so that God can go ahead and send them the wrath that they have been waiting on, because they've seen the signs, but they refuse to accept that God is on these people's side, because you have set up on them and attacked them, much like the people that we're living in this diaspora, in this time, this day and age, much like us now. So I hope that you have received this message. Please like, share, and subscribe to me. And we're going to get into a part 2 of how to remove those negative attacks when these people have become obsessed with you. And there are different, cleansing methods in order to do that. But please reach out to me, book your one-on-one sessions, like, share, and subscribe to me. Book your consultation so I can acclimate a gift to your situation. Leave a comment. Donate to me. Let me know how you like this channel. Book your life coaching sessions or your video chat sessions. I'm High Oracle, Reiki spiritual healer. Assalamu alaikum.